Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Longboard Blues, 1975. A YouTuber's on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Longboard Blues, 1975.
Hey YouTube, Longboys Post 1975 and welcome to the weekly driving vlog. It's Sunday morning, that means two things. One, I'm going to have to clear my throat, I haven't even eaten yet, and two, I've just gone to McDonald's, as I always like to say. It's my reward and therefore I can totally justify it because I have to work Saturday nights. Full moon, or was that on Friday the 13th? Anyway, what I want to talk about, well, you've read the title. It's basically, does anyone actually still buy brand new games in the high street? I know I certainly don't, and I want to just talk about, it's just a bit of a vlog really, it's not so much a question, but I would like to know what your thoughts and feelings on it are. But the high street used to be an absolutely fantastic, wonderful place for buying games. You know, if you're around about my age, my era, then that's initially where you had to go to buy your games. You've been able to mail order to some degree all along, you know, even right back in the Spectrum days. But the high street and all these little independent stores and stuff like that, and places like Boots, which are a chemist, WH Smith, which basically sold stationery. They used to sell, you know, selections of games, and we're talking across the 8-bits back then, you know, Spectrum, Amstrad, Commodore, Amiga, Atari ST, which is 16-bits as well. Easy there, mate. Could I buy a mini, an original mini? And yeah, but you know, like saving up your birthday money, your Christmas money, going into, you know, town with your parents. You know, my kids, I've talked about it before, going for a meal for like fish and chips, you know, for me and my twin brother on our birthday, and then spending our birthday money on video games. It was brilliant. This was, you know, so many great memories of the high street. But we'll get to that a little bit, you know, later on, and why I think it's kind of, why I don't buy it, and it's just not a nice place to buy games anymore. Maybe that's just, you know, me being subjective about my experiences. But yeah, and obviously I'll explain that I do buy retro games and I do go into a lot of game stores. I just don't buy brand new retail titles. And also we'll get to that. But basically, obviously this affects North America more than me. I've never been in a GameStop, so I don't know, you know, what it's like, how they treat you, what their prices are like. I mean, obviously I've seen all these videos that many YouTubers have made, so it's too many for it just to be, you know, isolated cases where they've got this history of, you know, driven by targets, so misleading the customer, essentially ripping off the customer and stuff like that, being abusive and bullying their own staff, and, you know, and mismanagement. And so they're going to the wire. It looks like they're going to go bankrupt. And, you know, this doesn't affect me, but I mean, obviously, was it a subsidiary or the UK equivalent? Were they related? Obviously, Game, I'm pretty sure they were related, almost went to the wire a few years ago in this country and had to close down loads and loads of branches due to pretty much the same reasons, I guess, mismanagement and stuff like that. But, you know, why am I talking about Game? Well, because they, to me, a Game in this country, GameStop in the States, I don't know, but you got your mum and pop stores and your little independent game stores and, you know, retro stores and stuff like that. But that was like the last of the big sort of high street retailers. I mean, years ago you had Virgin Megastore, stuff like that. I mentioned that Boots, WH Smith, all these places sold games. I'm going a completely stupid way home because I want to mix it up for you. Yeah, sold games and stuff like that, and, you know, obviously when I say WH Smith's, the bigger chains, they would eventually start selling console games and stuff like that. But yeah, so Game is the last, because in my neck of the woods we had EB Games. Then they became Game, didn't they? But my neck of the woods, we are down to one, Pink Planet. Pink Planet was a small independent game chain that sold retro and stuff like that, and brand new games, and theirs were brand new, although the staff could take them home and play them if they wanted to. I never liked that, because technically you're not actually selling a brand new game, you're selling a used game. But I always liked them, I had a soft spot for them. I've always said that in the independent stores, because of market forces, prices, you know, their bulk power of buying, being very much diminished. The business rates, because the government likes to hammer small businesses, but turn a complete blind eye to Amazon, which has a massive part in this vlog about why I don't buy retail games. I'm sure why a lot of people don't buy retail games, and places like Game and GameStop went to the wire, and I guess places like Pink Planet are losing branches, mainly again because they cannot compete with certain other places. But I've always said, right, I will support the independent chain and happily pay a little bit more money. I will with retro games. I absolutely will with retro games. I don't mind it. Your prices are reasonable, a little bit more than if you bothered to, look and browse and just, really scour eBay. But I'm fine with it because it's just a lazy option. I won't win new games simply because retro games, and if you're after a specific title, it may take a while for it to show up in your neck of the woods. New games come out in such bulk, and it's no offence to them. Like I said, I'll support them with retro games. I will not pay £10 more than a supermarket or Amazon. I can't afford to. I will do my best to support these places, but I can't. And so, I won't go and Game, because the few times I did, I don't like their, the way, I don't like their customer service. I don't see CEX as a particularly nice place to shop, and I won't buy brand new games in there because my understanding of brand new games in there it's just one that's come in as trade pretty close to its retail launch date, so they've just banged it back out at full price, but essentially it's used. So I won't touch that, and customer service is shit, and if you watch my channel, it's not a nice place to shop. So where else is there to shop? Like years ago, when you had your Virgin Megastores and stuff like that, and your HMVs, which don't sell games, do they anymore? Places like that. Rival Records, again, another place that's gone to the wire. But where else is there left? Like your main high street retailer for games. There isn't, is there, anymore? There isn't. There's supermarkets, and there's something else that used to be a lot better than they are now. They used to have big game sections. I'm talking 10 years ago. You went to a desk with an empty case. They got the disc out of it and the manual out of a drawer. Oh, who remembers manuals? Out of the drawer in front of you. You paid for it there, you left. Now, you take an empty plastic case from an incredibly small selection, an absolutely tiny selection. They used to have little walk-in centres for games. I'm talking Asda, Tesco's, Sainsbury's. Now they just have like one double-sided, well, not even that, 2 racks. One Xbox, one PlayStation 4, and a tiny little section for Switch. Well, not tiny little section, but it doesn't take up much room. But yeah, they used to be like a walk-in centre, but now you take it to the front desk, and then you wait for someone on the checkouts to take your case, call someone on a phone, get a set of keys, go to a locker that's in the corner of the front of the store, try and find your game. Usually it's someone who doesn't even game, so they don't even know what they're looking for, while all the time you're holding up the people behind you want to purchase and buy stuff, and feeling really like a plum, even though you just want to buy a fucking game. If you like it, they got it. If you aren't, they don't have it. But it's just, I wouldn't say it's stressful, but I just think I'm not putting myself through this. It should not take me. If we're not in CEX and it's quiet and I go to the checkout and there's no one else there, it should not take me 15 minutes to buy a brand new game. So even though supermarkets have prices very much in line with Amazon, which ultimately we can say across the globe has killed your retailers, it's the reason that, we're all right in Bristol. They're still ignoring CEX. There are still a few independent small chains, but they're slowly dropping because they can't compete and stuff like that, and certainly can't compete with Amazon. And I'm to blame for shopping on Amazon and stuff like that, I know, but there are reasons for that. But I'm just trying to tell you why I don't buy from these high street stores. I'm going to buy from CEX because it's not new games. Cash Converters, it's not new games. I don't mind going in there for old games, but it's not Game Store, and stuff like that. It's a store getting by on other people's miseries, repriced to sell. But yeah, it's not a Game Store. Cash Generators, not a Game Store. These little retro ones. Game Stores only buy retro stuff, but there is nowhere for me to buy games in the high street. Like I said, supermarkets are cheap. It's just such a fucking inconvenience and takes too bloody long. So ultimately, I don't buy games, retail games, new games in the high street, because I'll just use Amazon Prime. I have Amazon Prime because it's my only access to TV, because I don't have an aerial, and who has a TV these days? Who doesn't just stream? But I have it mainly so I can get next day and same day delivery, and no one can compete with their prices, bar the supermarkets, but we know I don't go there. I just said I complained about it shouldn't take me 15 minutes. But the reason I love Amazon Prime is cheap, next day, sometimes same day delivery. But why is that important for me? When you work nights and there aren't always people in your house in the daytime, and you have valuable stuff left or stuff you have to sign for, it's very, very, very important to guarantee exactly within reason when it's going to come, so you can be up for it, etc, 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 so it doesn't get damaged in the rain and stuff like that, if you know the weather. So yeah, it's not just convenience, it's a necessity for me, and as well as a price. Like I said, I'll support independent stores when it comes to retro games, not justifying it on new games. I can, a tenner more, and I'm not joking, you've got to look at some of these places, it's not their fault. They could probably only get in 3, 4, 5 at max copies of a new game, and like I said, your Call of Duties will be £10 more than they would be in a supermarket or on Amazon. So yeah, I don't buy games in the high street anymore, but it's kind of sad because it's where I always used to buy them, and even import games from my Mega Drive back in the day, and my Spectrum, even though, like I said, you could still order games from the back of magazines. It wasn't your Amazon Prime and stuff like that. It's that god-awful, please allow 28 days for delivery shit. But it got me thinking that it is sad. Buying games in the high street was not just because you're supporting the high street, but it was fun, it was enjoyable, especially when you're a kid. It was a day out, going into places like Virgin, going into these dedicated, I guess, EB back in the day before it became game places that were just, like the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 eras, when you hardly had any second-hand games. These were nice places to go into. You felt, as a gamer, that, you were surrounded by your own kind and stuff like that. It was a nice, comfortable place. There aren't any places like that anymore. There really, really aren't, and it's a complete shame. And I'm trying to think of the last game I bought retail and why that was. I think, actually, I bought World War II Call of Duty retail, simply because, I don't know if it was a glitch or shit or something like that, I simply could not get it off Amazon. I don't even know if I had Amazon Prime back then, so I just thought, fuck it, and I drove to my local supermarket and used, discount vouchers and stuff like that. After that, the last one I got was, well, no, I didn't buy it. It was vouchers I won for being, good at work. So I simply got it there because it's the only place I could redeem these vouchers, and so I'm not really buying it. It was free, and I redeemed Crash Bandicoot Mega Drive Collection and Street Fighter Anniversary, and a crate of beer, obviously. But yeah, that was the only reason. I wasn't going to buy any of these games there because, yeah, I don't know. But before World War II, I shit you not, because all the games you've seen me ever post up on Facebook, these are all off Amazon Prime, or they're older titles. They were second-hand and very cheap. This is the stupidest, blindest chicane ever. Traffic management, my ass. Traffic fuck up. Sorry. Lost my thread there, complaining about the road layout. Yeah, the one before World War II, because yeah, like I said, all the other stuff I ever buy, if it's new, around about roughly the release time of it, it came off Amazon. If it's, old, like 6 months to a year, like the other day when I posted up, I managed to bag Red Dead Redemption 2 for a tenner, then, second-hand shop, cash converters, stuff like that. But before World War II, the last game I bought at retail in the high street was, fucking hell, this is ages ago, on the 360, and it was Battlefront. It was Battlefront 4. So this has kind of been a little bit all over the shop, waffle and stuff like that. But do you still buy games, brand new games, at retail in the high street? Or is it just, no, why would I when I can, get it off Amazon, especially with Prime and stuff like that? I mean, do you buy them through supermarkets? Or is it just simply a case of, it's not a fun experience anymore, it's not convenient? I mean, and I mean, I guess is buying a game brand new in the high street even relevant anymore? Does anyone do it? As always, kind of a little bit of a random waffle there, but because of what's been happening to GameStop, I'd love to know what you think. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.